Fancy time.
Shall I start with the question?
Yeah, if you've got one.
Yeah. Were you complaining up there? Was there an element of complaining that we were just describing? How did it feel to you?
I'd rather ask the audience that question. I didn't intend to complain. Not even at all.
Okay.
My intention, and we'll check it out actually with the room. No, because really, yeah, complaint is in the eyes of the listener, and there's 350 of them here. 700 years. My intention was not at all to complain. My intention was to orient myself, actually. My intention was to arrive here fully by saying what's true for me.
Right.
You know, if I'd talked for a little longer, I might have also said, I've been stress eating this week, and I'm feeling kind of heavy in my body. And to make matters worse, the last time we were on stage together in New York, after we got off stage, my dad said to me, you know, it's such a pleasure to be on stage with you, you know, now that you've lost some weight. You're thin, you're in your body, it's just such a pleasure to be next to someone. And I'm not complaining here either. I'm outing you, I am outing you.
Why don't we just take our clothes off, right?
Because this is part of what I have to deal with in order to be present.
Okay.
You know, and I was actually, I didn't get to it, but that, the point is not what you said. The point is that my self-consciousness, my experience of myself around you is heightened. And it's true for all kids, I think, some more than others. But I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm talking about the psychedelic experience of getting near your parents. And like I said, it's the contact high of like, oof, this shit is weird. And I think I undercut any sense of complaint when I said, I chose this.
Yeah.
I chose this. I'm diving down underneath this stuff on purpose. It's not like, why is my dad doing this to me?
You know what, I just realized something, if I can interrupt. But go ahead.
Yeah, go. Sure. If you realize something, let's hear it.
Yeah. I felt your pain when you were talking.
Yeah.
And
you felt my pain when I was talking?
Sorry?
Can't hear you.
I said I felt Daniel's pain when he was talking. And I suppose I didn't want to feel that. And that's where my question came from.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know. But I appreciate you seeing it.
Yeah. So I take the question back.
Yeah.
And I mean.
So you don't know. Please don't take it back. It was gold.
Okay. And furthermore, you know what? I loved how you spoke and what you shared and just how authentically you showed up.
Yeah. Thanks.
It was great. Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, you did use the word excruciating to refer to it, and actually that leads me very, very neatly into my question for you.
Sure. Go ahead.
Because actually, right now I'm feeling totally oriented. Now I'm feeling totally here.
Well, one of us.
So yeah. We trade off who's off balance and who's in the zone, you know. And then sometimes, occasionally, we both feel oriented together at the same time, and that's pretty sweet. When you were talking at first, I thought you were complaining, but I heard you also undercut that by saying it goes both ways. And I heard you were talking about a complaint that you have. You were not complaining.
No.
You were speaking about the complaint. When is my son going to see who I am already? When is he going to, see who he's dealing with? So my question for you is this. we all know that, and like you said, there's no one on the planet who's better attuned in general and in theory to the truth that parents affect their kids, that kids carry their parents with them forever, and all of this, right? But that's what you know.
Mm-hmm.
What's it actually like for you when your children, whether it's me or either of my siblings, bring to you a complaint or an experience that doesn't fit in your paradigm, that isn't, that's disorienting? What's your actual, what happens for you when say like what's going on in there?
Mm-hmm.
And how and is there a clash between what you know and what you're experiencing?
Yeah, well, what I would teach about that and what I do about it or handle it are two different things. You know, it's not the only area where my teachings vary from my practice quite a bit sometimes. How I'd like to respond is just to be really curious. You know, not necessarily assume that I'm responsible for what you're upset about. And maybe it is based on a misunderstanding, but I'd just be curious.
Yeah.
What's happening for you?
Yeah.
You know, but really what happens is I get defensive.
Yeah.
Very often.
Yeah. I mean, literally anyone in the world who's ever said, "Don't you know who you're dealing with?" is not in a particularly open, like, do you know who you're talking to?
Well, I don't think I've ever said those words.
Up there, you
no,
did.
Tonight,
That's how you phrase the complaint.
Yeah. But that's certainly the mind state behind it.
That's what I'm saying.
That, you know, you're just not seeing me. You're not talking to me. You're talking
Yes.
to some projection of me that it may be a totally valid interpretation of how you experienced me when you were small.
Yeah.
But it's just not who you're talking to.
Right.
You know, and so there's hurt, and when there's hurt, there's always defensiveness. When there's defensiveness, there's sometimes aggression,
Mm-hmm.
you know, verbal. I mean, so yeah, that's how I tend to respond, I think. And I really did used to say, I often counsel parents who just don't get what their kids are so upset with them and they're so angry with them and so on. And you know, I can certainly understand that. But generally, my response is, and always has been for a long time, that I'm not worried that my kids will be angry with me. I'm worried that they won't be angry enough.
But you want to hear a funny story?
But that's in theory. I do in a minute. But that's in theory. But in practice, when I get their anger, I don't always handle it well. I get defensive. Now, sometimes I handle it superbly, I have to say.
Yes. And the times when you handle it superbly are actually when we set up the environment in advance so that the context for the conversation is such that you're actually primed to hear it. And we're going to be looking at that a lot this weekend about the relational environment, that just like the parenting environment when a kid is tiny is really important. Every relationship between two adults is an environment. And it's designed a certain way, and it's designed for certain things, and just like the quality of the atmosphere on a planet determines whether or not life can grow there, or humans can breathe there, the relational environment in any relationship determines what kind of conversations can happen in that conversation, in that relationship, and what kind of conversations just can't. What sorts of things can be heard and understood, and what sorts of things can't. But just funny story, I remember I quoted that we were recording the first episode of our podcast, which is coming, I promise, but I'm still putting it together. But we recorded a conversation some time ago now, and I reminded you of that quote of yours, that I'm not worried my kids will be angry at me. I'm worried they won't be angry enough, because I've heard that all my life. And you said, yeah, but what I didn't say is that they have to be angry about the right things. And I said, okay, and who gets to decide what the right things are? He said, well, I do, of course. And I think my response was, okay, well, in that case, fuck you, Dad. Here's some anger for you. Because that's something to be angry about. If those are the rules of the game, Actually, now he was joking, but it was a self-aware joke. It was quite an insightful joke, because that's exactly how I experienced my childhood. Is that in theory, I'm so open to your experience.
Daniel, what happens for you when you? I mean, you know what? When you say "fuck you," that actually makes me uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay. Well, maybe I don't need to say it.
I don't think it's necessary to do it on the stage.
Okay. It's a quote that you gave me to say to myself anytime that...
Actually, it's a quote that you made up. It was you went to see a therapist once, and the therapist was sorry. You can't hear me?
The microphone is backwards, and
Backwards.
I just don't think it's quite in the right place.
All right, let me hold it like this. Maybe is this any better? All right, I'll just hold it like this. So when Daniel was a teenager, we sent him to a therapist. I don't wish upon anybody, but that's another story. And Dan was talking about these negative voices in his head, and the therapist, very rightly, he had a lot of great insights. He said to him, well, next time you hear those negative voices, just say, "Hello, Dad." And I think then you added,
Now fuck off.
"Now, hello, Dad, and fuck you." Yeah.
Or fuck off.
Yeah.
Just get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm sorry. I don't need to use that language in these presentations. I hear that you're sensitive to them, so thanks for telling me that.
Okay, that's fine.
But the point being...
I'm just wondering what
No, but hold on a second.
I'm just wondering what it'll look like on YouTube, you know.
It'll look great. It'll look great. How you doing out there? You can handle little F-bombs? Yeah. Because you were making a joke, and it was a joke I made in response. You know, but this is actually a nice little case in point, because when the anger comes, you don't like the form it takes. Now, decorum, procedure on stage together, fair enough. I'll take the critique. I don't need to swear at you. But the thing that, well, it's so interesting, because at the core of my anger is actually not the whatever it is I'm angry about, but it's the sort of shifting rules and the hypocrisy of be angry, but only for the right things. And that has been a very slippery thing to get across to you, because you don't hold on to that's a bit of a hot potato for you.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think it's time to turn to the audience.
Yeah, sure.